Hello, all, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Bob Dean. I own Robert Dean Farmers Insurance Agency in Amarillo, Texas. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Gmail, and TikTok under No Prob Bob Insurance. So today I'm just going to go over the basics of homeowners insurance, and I'll take a deeper dive later. Now, homeowners insurance is very obvious. It's insurance for an own home which you own. Kind of hard to say. But with homeowners insurance, they fall under two different categories. Option one, which I highly recommend, it's something that I offer at Farmers, is called open peril, which basically means we cover a lot. And unless it's specifically excluded, it's covered. Now, the other type in the state of Texas is going to be a named peril policy. This one will cover you for wind, fire, hail, and theft. So those things have to be required under it. Now, when I kind of go off into homeowners policy, there's one thing that I really need to explain first, and I'll actually circle back to it later, which is your dwelling amount. So a lot of times when you're getting a quote for new homeowners insurance, you look at it and let's say the dwelling amount comes out to be 300,000 and you're like, "Hey, wait a minute. I just paid $250,000 for my home last year. Why is it 300,000? It's not worth that." Well, the dwelling amount is actually the replacement cost on your home. So what it costs to rebuild. And this is oftentimes higher than what you could sell the home for. Now, with that out of the way, there's deductibles. Now, oftentimes deductibles are based on a percentage of your dwelling amount. So a lot of times it's 1%. So let's go back to that earlier example. The dwelling amount on that homeowner's insurance policy was 300,000. So 1% deductible, $3,000. Now, going a little bit further into this, there are three types of deductibles on your homeowner's policy. I know it gets really confusing, but that's what I'm here for. So the first one, and it's a huge one in the Texas Panhandle and really in the most of Texas, it's going to be your wind and hail deductible. So this deductible applies specifically to wind and hail losses. Now, from there, you have tropical cyclone. In Amarillo, Texas, not a big deal. In Houston, very big deal. Now, the third one is going to be all other covered losses. So things like theft are going to be covered under this. Water loss, that would be covered under that deductible. And again, it's going to be a percentage of your dwelling amount. Now, there are the one-off deals that have just a set deductible. You really don't find them a lot anymore. Sometimes they are out there, especially if you're a lower risk part of the state. El Paso, they can choose just a set deductible and not a percentage wise. But hey, so let's talk about the portions of your homeowner's policy. So we touched on dwelling. That's going to be your first one, your dwelling amount. And then from there, you have separate structures. What are separate structures? Some of you may be very obvious, others may not. Now, separate structures could be that tool shed you have in the backyard. Mostly separate structures is your fence. If you have a detached garage or living space, that could also be a separate structure. Now, from here, we go to personal property coverage. Now, what's really nice about a homeowner's policy is for the most part, most insurance companies will automatically take a portion of your personal property and automatically apply it in places like your vehicle, which is surprising. A lot of people assume it's your auto policy, which would cover theft inside your vehicle. It's actually your homeowner's policy. This also includes things like if you're at a hotel, some things get stolen out of the hotel room, it'd be your homeowner's policy, which would cover it. Now, we also have loss of use. So, unfortunately, your house burns down. Where are you going to live? Loss of use coverage is the portion of your homeowner's policy which would pay to rent out a hotel room. If it's going to be a longer term type of deal, it's going to pay to rent you out an apartment and a home. Now, from there, which gets into one of my most favorite parts of the homeowner's policy, is liability coverage. Liability coverage is basically bodily injury coverage. So, what you could possibly do to injure another person. Now, something very important in this day and age is when you do get liability insurance on your homeowner's policy, which is automatic, you need to add personal injury to it. What personal injury is it takes your liability coverage and also applies it over for things like you hurt somebody's feelings, maybe you did a bad restaurant review, those type of things. So I really appreciate you stopping by and watching another video. In a later video, I'll take a little bit deeper dive into the types of coverages and what they mean to you. So stay tuned. You take care.